My son made me watch Frieren Beyond Journey's End, and honestly, I was not prepared for how much this anime was going to affect me. By the end of the first episode, I was already sitting there with tears in my eyes. Now, I don't know if that's because Frieren is just that good, or if it's because I'm 37 years old, and apparently everything hits me harder now. But there was something about watching Frieren look back on the life she had lived, the people she had travelled with, and the moments she never realised were important until they were gone, that hit a little too close to home. Because the older I get, the more I realise that time is probably the one thing we all waste while assuming we have plenty of it. And somehow an anime about a fantasy world full of magic and elves ended up making me think about my own family, my own memories, and the fact that my kids are growing up far faster than I ever expected. I've only watched the first 8 episodes so far, but I already understand why this series has connected with so many people. It completely refuses to pander to modern, short attention spans. It's taking you on a journey at its own pace. A lot of modern entertainment is designed for immediate stimulation, and Frieren reminded me how satisfying patience can be. The show's setup is simple, but the execution is fantastic. In this age of social media and constant stimulation, it's a massive risk to make an anime this slow paced, but it pays off completely. Even the magic in this world feels entirely different from standard fantasy tropes. It is treated more like a lifelong craft or a deeply personal hobby. One of my favourite details is Frieren's obsession with collecting seemingly pointless spells. She is genuinely excited to discover a spell that turns grapes sour or a spell that creates a beautiful field of flowers. For an elf, life isn't defined by the massive loud battles, it's defined by the quiet, slow burning hobbies you pick up along the way. And I think that is where Frieren really separates itself from a lot of other fantasy stories, because the magic isn't actually the important part. It's another way for us to see how Frieren sees the world. For someone who lives for hundreds of years, moments that seem meaningless to everyone else become incredibly important. The problem is, Frieren doesn't realise that at first, and that's what makes the beginning of the story so powerful. Unlike many other stories, we start at the end. We pick up with Frieren after she has spent 10 years travelling with Himmel and the rest of the party. They've defeated the Demon King, they've saved the world. To Frieren, it feels like a small chapter in an incredibly long life. And it becomes a reminder of our own lives. We grow up chasing goals, meeting deadlines, solving one problem after another. Before we know it, we're on a treadmill, always looking ahead to the next milestone instead of appreciating the journey we're already on. That happens with Frieren when she returns to see her old friends decades later and sees how much everyone has changed. She starts to understand something. Those 10 years weren't just some small part of her life, they were the important part. Because the value of a moment isn't decided by how long it lasts. It's decided by who you spend it with. And that is a surprisingly difficult lesson to learn, especially as you get older. When Frieren watches Himmel's funeral and starts to realise that she never truly understood how much he meant to her, that was the moment the show really got me. Because it's not just about losing someone. It's about that horrible feeling of looking backwards and realising there were moments you should have appreciated more while you were actually living in them. And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. I know I certainly can. Watching her cry at his funeral and realise what she missed hit me incredibly hard. I've lost quite a few family members and friends over the years. There are so many times in my past where I was too busy or too caught up in my own rubbish that special, important moments pass me by. As I've gotten older, time itself has become a really scary thing. I look at my 2 eldest boys now, and I feel this bittersweet mixture of immense pride and sadness. It feels like just yesterday they would rely on me for absolutely everything, asking me to carry them, throw them around and take them places. Now they have their own hobbies, friends and lives. I always knew that day would come, but it went from something I could barely imagine to reality in the blink of an eye. I guess that is part of the reason I've made these videos. It's a new way for me to connect with my son. He's grown up with the anime I put in front of him, now it's my turn to let him take the lead. When Frieren looks back at a 10-year journey and views it as just a tiny fraction of her life, I can relate to that feeling of time slipping through your fingers on a deeply personal level. This entire show is a reminder that the adventure isn't about reaching the destination. The adventure is the quiet time spent travelling with people you care about. This series is a vital reminder to take a second, look around you right now and not take for granted the people who are in our lives. If you still have those people in your life, take a moment to appreciate that, because one day those ordinary moments may become the memories you treasure most. because when we look back at our own lives, it isn't just massive milestones we think about. Some of my absolute happiest memories are, on paper, completely boring. It's sitting on the couch watching Formula 1 with my dad when I was a kid, or watch Brighton play with my own kids. It's a random walk we went on one late evening. It's eating cheese toasties and making my friend watch Bleach after college. Those small, quiet moments dig their way deepest inside you. And that is exactly what Frieren captures so perfectly. Our time is short, our lives move fast, and the mundane things we do with the people we love are often the things we miss the most when they're gone. Frieren herself is already changing quickly, and I wonder how Himmel would feel knowing that his life meant so much to her and has helped her see people in an entirely new way. So yes, my son introduced me to Frieren, but because of that I have been reminded to slow down and appreciate the moments that are already happening around me. I've only just scratched the surface of this journey and I can't wait to see what happens next. If you've watched Frieren, let me know in the comments below which moments stayed with you the most.